Good morning and welcome back to my channel. I thought I would just pop on and make a very quick video if I possibly can do. That might seem like an impossibility because I do like to waffle, but I'm going to try my very best. As you know, if you've been following me for a little while, I do no edit videos, so I'm not going to edit this video out either. I'm just going to talk. But if this is your first time here at my channel, my name is Alison and I am the Senior Children's Worker and the founder of the Urban Family. We're a small charity that work with children generally aged between 5 and 11 in northwest London. We do work with children that are older than that, but our main aim is children aged 5 to 11. So I work with 4 churches at the moment I work with 5 churches across northwest London, and I do a variety of different things. So at one club we meet once a month. At one church I meet only with the children once a month. At another church I meet weekly, but there's only a couple of children that come to that club, and so we do a Bible study. And it's in a lounge and much more informal. And then at the other 3 churches, I run Kids Club, and that is a stage-based led program. And as you know, if you've watched any of my previous videos, in March when the UK went into lockdown, we started a session called Live at 5, and we successfully led 96 Bible studies for children aged 5 to 11 throughout lockdown here in the UK. And the numbers did drop off a little bit towards the end because schools opened back up and children started going back to school. The weather was really good. People were able to get out and about more. And so we did see numbers drop, but not a huge amount. And on our last day, we had a big online Zoom party, and we had a great turnout from children. They all turned up for the party, which was fantastic. And we were able to celebrate the time that we had spent that was very precious to me. And I was able to share with them the difference that I've seen in them over the last few months. Now, I wouldn't normally be able to have that level of intimacy with the kids that we deal with because our Zoom session actually only caught about 25% of the children that we would normally expect to see on a weekly basis. And, you know, I kind of have struggled a little bit with that because there is the whole, the scripture in Luke. Jesus leaves the herd of the flock of sheep and goes after the one. And there's a part of me that feels that we need to do more to reach the children that weren't making it to our Zoom sessions. So if I do that, then it's like, how do I do that? Sorry, I can't speak. I'm trying to process that. I still am trying to process that all these months down the line. Now, we tried filming videos and posting them on Facebook and YouTube, but of course, if you are used to YouTube, you know that you can't have comments enabled for on children's videos. So there's no interaction with families through YouTube. And so then on Facebook, we know that we don't have a huge following on Facebook, and so I don't know that parents really necessarily engaged with us. We had no engagement whatsoever. I know that people watched our videos because of the number of hits it's had on YouTube, but that petered down as well. And in mid-June, I decided to call it quits because we were having no response from anybody. We were having still very little interaction. And it wasn't that I just put a video out there. I also created an activity sheet to go with each of our weekly videos, and I sent it out in the post. Now, in the UK, the post was terrible during lockdown. Understandably, I'm not criticising the mail, but sometimes mail was taking between 10 and 15 days to get to kids. And so therefore, it was already out of date before they got it. And it didn't matter how hard I tried and I worked, I couldn't get far enough in advance that everybody got everything when they needed it. So even with my kids at Live at 5, although we were seeing them online every day, we were sending them out activities to do so through the post on a weekly basis. And again, as I say, they were getting it the next week. So we'd already completed everything and they got it the following week. So it was frustrating for everyone. And so even when I sent things out a week in advance, still some kids didn't get it. And the ironic thing was they lived like 10-minute walk from the Royal Mail depot. They could have probably walked there, or I could have walked to their house and delivered it much quicker than it was being done through the post. But that's just, that's life in a pandemic. And, we just had to get around it. We sent out digital copies, but again, not everybody has the ability to be able to print out the stuff, even though it was just simple couple of sheets of paper or black and white. Some parents said, yes, please do send it digitally and we will print it for our children. And so that was good. That did take the pressure off me a little bit. But again, it's those that are the most vulnerable, or those that are in the poorest area, that were not getting it and were not able to print it. So it was a struggle, especially in the deepest part of lockdown. But that was successful and they did get it. And so I know that the other information did reach the children, but we just had no feedback from them whatsoever. So it was a little bit disappointing, and I think it was a reality check. So now that we've finished, we've done our live at 5 sessions. We finished on the 18th of July. It's now, I think it's now the 7th of August that I'm making this video. We had a break for a week, or I had a break for a week. It wasn't really much of a break. It was a week of preparation. We then run a holiday club via Zoom. And again, we had about 30 kids sign up for that, but we only had about 22 children come every day. That's fine. It was a good number for us to work with. I mean, we'd never done this before. I'd never heard of anybody run an interactive online holiday club before. So it was enough for us. But going forward, what are we going to do? Now, if I could get £1 for every time somebody asked me, a child or a parent, what's Kids Club going to be doing when it comes back in September, I would be really rich right now, because so many people have asked me. And it's just such a difficult decision to make. I mean, it's so hard. Our numbers are increasing again here in the UK. We're seeing localised lockdowns. We're seeing pubs and restaurants being shut down. We're seeing clusters of outbreaks. Schools are set to go back. They're talking about having to close pubs and restaurants in order for schools to be able to go back. But still, holiday clubs and after-school clubs have not technically been given permission to reopen. Lots of them are still closed. Now, going forward into September, the accessibility to schools is not going to be the same. We've struggled where we are anyway, but it seems that schools are going to be keeping the number of people on site to the bare minimum. So they don't want strangers coming in carrying the sickness or, the disease. So it's going to be interesting there. Churches have got bizarre guidelines that they have to follow. And so as a parachurch organisation, I'm trying to reconcile the difference between what the education department and the government of the UK are saying and what churches' guidelines are. And so I'm trying to marry these two together. And let me tell you, it's not the easiest job. So I've made a decision that our kids club is going to be a hybrid club for at least the next term. That takes us to Christmas. So we're going to do an outdoor open air event at each of our sites in the month of September. That will be probably the very first week we go back. And we'll have activity packs ready that we can hand out to kids that come along. And then we will do online. We will be online for the rest of the month. And then in October, again, we'll have an event where the kids can come and pick up the equipment, the resources that they might need, and so on. So that's how it'll be. We'll have a month gathering, and then we'll have online. Now, we only had 25% of kids attending. That was across the board. So normally we'd have over 100 children that coming across the week, and we only had 25 to 30 kids, so that is a big drop. So we need to work out how we're going to engage with the children that are not connecting with us, those that are not logging into our Zoom sessions. Now, that could be for a variety of reasons. One, they might not have internet. They might be relying on their parents' mobile phone, and so their parents are going to say, no, I'm not wasting my data on this for you. So that's understandable. They might not have a tablet or a computer that they can log on online. We have to remember that in the UK, only a third of the children completed on distant learning online during lockdown, and so that has been a serious impact and has serious repercussions. And so I think that is also, we're actually ahead of the game, because we were a quarter of the children, and on average only a third attended school online digitally. So we've got to look at all these things. Now, I'm not going to suggest that we go out and start buying devices for families. I mean, if we got funding for that, then obviously we would do. I don't even know how we can help them get internet, but we need to have some other form of connection with them, whether it's just once a month, physical meet up. But the other thing that we've neglected to do over the last few years, just because we've been short on human resources, people are blessed because they're working full time, and it's been very difficult for us, but we haven't been visiting our children at home. And so going forward, our things are once a month meet up, online sessions weekly for the children, and we will be visiting the kids weekly as well. Might not be every child every week, but at least they will be visited once or twice in the month, and we'll see them at the meetup. And so therefore that should hopefully help them to connect with us. It will give other members of the church an opportunity to be involved, because they might not necessarily want to be involved in our ministry and working with children, but I'm quite sure that they would be happy to be an escort, to go out with a team member to visit the children and build up a relationship with the family. And so I see this as a really good opportunity. It's almost like September is going to be a clean slate. We're going to have to wipe everything clean. Everything that we've known is up in the air, and we need to make our new normal. And if you've been following me for a while, then you'll know that in 2017, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And one of the things that they tell you about cancer is that you will never go back to normal. Okay, so that you'll never go back to how things were. You have to find a new normal. And I think this is the same for 2020 and the COVID virus. I think the coronavirus, we have to find a new normal. And I think hybrid church, hybrid children's clubs, and hybrid ministry is the way forward. So I just wanted to give you that bit of an update. It's probably a little bit windy and rambling, but these are just the thoughts that are running around in my head, and I wanted to share that. I would be really grateful if you put in a comment, if you share in the comments what you're planning to do come September. Are you planning to go back full-time face-to-face contact with the children? Are you going to continue doing online sessions? Are you meeting outside? Has your church opened yet? Our church is still closed. In fact, all the churches I work with are still closed at the moment. They're still continuing to minister online. So I'm interested to find out what you're doing. So I'd love it if you left me a comment. Please, please, please subscribe to this channel if you're a children's worker for a church. I'd love to connect with you. I want to build a really strong and flourishing community here online for children's workers. And so, yeah, I'd love to hear from you. Give the video a thumbs up and subscribe and press the notification bell so that you can hear when my next video comes up. So that's all I'm going to say for now. So just make sure that you know that God loves you, and have a blessed day. Take care. Bye-bye.